Hi, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of the First Nations Fiber Podcast, where we're going to be introducing you to this brand new product here in Kahnawake for the Mohawk community that we've just been so excited about. We've been hearing about it for quite some time now. We're finally going to get all the information, all your answers, all your questions are going to be answered pretty much. I'm Jeremy White. I'm going to be asking the questions this afternoon. Kameron Lahache, the Chief Operating Officer of First Nations Fiber, is going to be answering the questions. Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
so
good to be here.
Here we are. I mean, we've been talking about this for quite some time, and I'm just so excited to finally be getting this information out into the community, because you can see the smile on my face. Like, I've been one of the biggest critics of local internet providers in Kahnawake forever, especially with like my day-to-day job, and especially with the pandemic. I think it really made people realize how important a stable internet connection really is.
Absolutely. I mean, even before the pandemic, you would see people complaining about the lack of internet service in Kahnawake for what? Over 10 years now?
Forever. Forever.
So, no, it's going to be awesome. Like you're excited, I'm excited too. This is something that I've been wanting to talk to people about for months now. It's not something that, July 21st came around. It's not like, all of a sudden, this project's just starting now. No, this is something we've been working on for years now. So
yeah,
finally having the opportunity to just put it all out in the open and let everybody know this is what we're doing and give everybody the details that they've just been asking me. I've had people asking me for months, like, when's it coming out? How much is it going to cost? When am I going to be able to get hooked up? So
yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to talk about some of those things today.
Yeah, we'll be answering all those questions. So first and foremost, who is First Nations Fiber?
Well, we were First Nations Wireless first.
Yeah.
We were in business since 2015. We were using wireless technologies to service people. But, we're a local company. We're locally owned. We're locally based. You've seen our techs, our vans all around the community.
Yeah.
So
they're all from Kahnawake.
They're all from Kahnawake. We've been here since, like I said, 2015, doing our best to provide the best service that we possibly can using the technologies that we're using. And our goal has always been to, provide a service that people are going to be happy having, a service that people aren't going to complain about. So, for the most part, I'd like to believe that we've done that.
Right.
But this is the next step for us, is offering fiber internet service to everybody. It's going to be huge.
So we've gone sort of from the dial-up to the cable-based internet to then the wireless, and now this fiber optic, and everybody's like, oh, well, why do I need this fiber? Like, what is this? So talk to me about what is fiber optic internet.
Yeah, and the ideal situation is that, if funds were unlimited, every single person would be connected to fiber optics throughout the entire world for their internet connection. And the reason why not only us, but you're looking at all the other providers outside of the territory, why they've been pushing fiber optics, is because the technologies that are available today, we've not yet reached the theoretical limit of what fiber optics are capable of.
Really?
Really, yeah. So, they've pushed over 10 gigabits plus through a single fiber optic cable, and they said, we can still go further than that. The limitation isn't the cable itself. The limitation is the chipsets that we have on both ends of that cable. So technology is continuing to advance and things are continually changing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still haven't reached the theoretical limit. So
wow, it's interesting.
It's almost limitless in the sense of what's available to it. And if you're thinking about speed and latency, it's using light to transmit that data. So it can travel theoretically as fast as light can travel.
Wow.
So that's why it's an incredible technology.
So this is it's like the nuclear power of internet almost.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's the difference between say cable, wireless, and fiber optic internet aside from the speed? Is it's the actual technology?
It's the actual technology. It's the materials that the cables are actually made out of. So you talked about cable, for example.
Like this is like your standard TV cable provider, like internet service.
Yeah, they're using copper cables, which has an electrical current traveling through that to transmit data. And whenever you're transmitting electricity through any type of medium, there's a limiting factor behind it. And with copper cabling as well, there's also a theoretical limit as to how much bandwidth that you can push through it. So, and I'm going to get a little bit off topic here, but I mean, when you're talking about latency and bandwidth, you're talking about two different things. What latency is the time that it takes from data packets to be sent from point A to point B. Whereas bandwidth is, I'll give you an example, say a highway. How many lanes does that highway have? So the more lanes that you have, the more bandwidth that you can theoretically push through that.
More cars
that
go through quicker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what bandwidth is. Latency is more. If you want to continue with this highway, example, latency is comparable to the speed limit, whereas bandwidth is how many lanes are on that highway.
Right.
Yeah.
So with fiber optic, the lanes are endless and there's no speed limit.
There's no limit yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible because it's like, you hear all these things about bandwidth and latency and like, oh, yeah, I'm lagging on my game. And it really does come down to the internet provider at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, whatever technology is being used to deliver internet to the home is the limiting factor. And the beauty with going with fiber optics is there's no longer going to be a bottleneck going to your house. As we talked about, it's limitless to this point in time.
So how is it going to work? Like, right now with the First Nations wireless, you got the little satellite on your roof, and then it goes to your wireless router, like in your house. So with this fiber, like, are you guys going to be running cables through town, or?
Yeah, so we actually have to go through the entire community and lay fiber optic cables to every single house.
Wow.
And when we first started the project, we were exploring the possibility of basically trenching all the cables because we weren't sure whether we'd be able to be permitted to use the poles or not.
So is there I guess there's a lot of paperwork that goes into
There's a lot of preemptive work that needs to be done. Yeah, and so that's something.
Have you faced any challenges? Like, you getting any pushback from like other like companies in town? Say like, oh, why are they getting to do this? Or
No. Surprisingly, I mean, we haven't had any negative feedback yet.
Great.
We'll see if it continues that way.
Right.
I'm hoping it will.
Because the weird thing is that like people don't necessarily know that like Kahnawake doesn't own the power poles in town.
No.
It's owned by is it Hydro or Bell?
It's both of them. So if you're driving around the community, and I mean I've only been paying attention because of what we've been doing, but if you drive around and if you look at the poles, each one, you'll see some of them have this yellow sticker on them with a combination of letters and numbers, and that's an identifier. Those ones with the yellow sticker, those are the ones that are owned by Hydro, and the rest that are missing, those are owned by Bell.
Wow.
Yeah, but majority of them are owned by, I would say most of them are owned by Bell right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So why First Nations fiber? Why doesn't Bell just come in and say, all right, we're going to run fiber optics through the entire community? Like, why is it taking so long for Kahnawake to get fiber compared to surrounding communities?
I mean, I really wish I knew the answer to that question. Why it's taken so long, I'm not sure. I mean, I think a big reason why we haven't had a provider as big as Bell or Videotron come in, for example, is, I mean, obviously we're a Mohawk community.
Right.
And
Bell is just incredibly racist.
Well, I mean, whether or not they are, I don't know. But I mean, I know with their accounting system, something that they need is for every house to have an address.
Okay.
That's something that we don't have here. You know, we're in a unique situation where, you want directions to your house. You got to say, oh, all right, we'll go down Rabaska Road and then turn right at Twin Hills. And I'm the third house on the right, and I got
turn right at the big rock, and then where the deer's in the yard, you see the Statue of Liberty. And
so I mean,
the third house with the flag from the porch.
So if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, that's a little intimidating. What if, for example, if Bell needed to perform a service call and they need to bring in a tech? Well, people, not only are you from outside the community, and not only is your first language French and you're speaking your second language, but now you got to deal with this you can perceive it as a complicated scenario of trying to find this house when in a territory that you're not familiar with. So I think that was one of the big obstacles that Bell and Videotron had in coming into the community. And then I'm sure that, and I'm speculating here, but I'm sure, I mean, there's always been a big push from our community to shop local,
Right.
keep business local.
Like, if we can do it, well, why would we go anywhere else?
Exactly. I mean, yeah. So,
yeah.
I'm sure it was brought to the attention. Maybe it was brought to the attention to, say, MCK, and MCK might have said, well, we have a local provider. We would prefer to continue to support them. So,
which makes sense at the end of the day, because it's like, you know, like you said, I mean, there's so much, you know, people, you know, in Kahnawake, everybody's so against, you know, the having the number in front of your house, and it's like, you know, having to describe the whole thing. It's like, if you're calling a local company, the odds of them knowing who you are and where you live and how to get there, a lot simpler and easier than having to call somewhere else. And that makes total sense, especially if you have a local tax, and I mean, to me, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, our focus was always to keep it local. I mean, people appreciate having local residents come and service them, perform the install. It's people they're familiar with. It's vans that you see driving around the community. So that familiarity is huge. And, you know, again, it's that whole idea and notion of community. I mean, that's who we are. We're a community internet service provider, and we want to be a member of the community. I mean, we are members of the community, but we want a service that's by the community, for the community, and that's going to benefit the community. So, I mean, that's always been our objective and our goal and what we're doing.
And if you're going to service some elder, you know, you show up there and she asks, well, who's your mother?
Yeah.
You know, the tech explains, she'll probably know who it is.
Yeah. There was actually a few times where I've gone where our texts weren't available and I had to go out.
Jeez.
And
you're making house calls now.
Well, I mean, that's how it is, right? If we don't have, you know, if for whatever reason, I mean, during COVID, it was huge. I mean, some of our techs had to be put in isolation, and so we have a next man up mentality.
Right.
And, you know, it just came a few times where I had to go out and service people, and
it's the same thing,
exactly
you know?
the same thing that you were saying. I'd be in there. Oh, who's your who's your grandfather?
Who's your
who are
aunt?
you? Who's your mother?
Yeah. Is Lisa your auntie?
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, you know, my grandfather is Lionel Deere and Carolyn Deere. That's my grandparents. So and that's, as soon as I say that, that's how they know me. Otherwise, I'm basically just a nobody.
Yeah, you're just the guy behind the van.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Who's this young kid coming in my house?
So now the big question is, for years, we've sort of been monopolized in this community when it comes to internet service. And now we've got quite a bit of competition, especially with fiber coming into Kahnawake. How much of a difference are we going to see in speeds?
You're looking at an increase of at least 4 to 5 times. I
Wow.
mean, I'll give you an example, okay? So our pro plan that we offer right now is 40 megabits down and 10 megabits up. That's I would say that's the most that we can comfortably push out using the technologies that we're using. Mm-hmm. When we come in with fiber, I mean, the lowest plan that we're going to be offering is 5010. Mm-hmm. And we're only offering that because the CRTC has a requirement that you offer this minimum package so that, you know, every low-income housing, for example, can have some reliable internet.
Right.
But that low-end package is not 10 times faster, but it's 10 megabits faster than what we can offer our best right now.
Okay.
So that's the floor. That's like I said, that's the floor that we're going to be offering, but we're going to be offering speeds up to gigabit, which is
wow.
Gigabit is 1,000 megabits.
Yeah.
So we're going from a theoretical max of 40 megabits up to 1,000.
So
it's huge.
So it's literally, if I'm doing, you know, like my speed test, whatever, you know, if I'm using a local cable provider and it shows up, you know, 20, then if I switch to fiber, first stage fiber, I could get up to 1,000.
Yeah.
It's quite a significant difference.
It's huge. Yeah, I mean, for people working from home or content creators, I mean, yourself, you're uploading these huge files online, and it takes a long time just because
even that, you know, it's huge. Like, aside from the uploading, you know, huge files and stuff, it's like if I'm Zooming with some of the biggest stars in the world and broadcasting to Canada's 2 largest cities, and if I'm doing it from home in the middle of a pandemic, well, I need the most solid connection possible. Yeah. And I haven't been able to get that. You know, I switched over to First Nations Wireless, and I'm loving the service. So that's why I'm really excited about this fiber optic stuff that's going to be coming in, because it's like it seems to be like a game changer.
It is a game changer. I mean, a lot of our clients, I mean, for the most part, have been satisfied. And I mean, that's been great. I mean, we've been happy that we've been able to meet the immediate needs, but I mean, we're always looking forward. We're always trying to think ahead. Well, what more can we do? What more can we do to, push forward? What technologies are out there that we can use to provide an even better service than what we've been offering? So, I mean, fiber optics is basically the premier choice that's available, and it's the best technology that you can use to provide internet service with right now. So, I mean, that's why we felt that this was the direction to go, and we've been working on it for a while, and it's finally happening. I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish so far, and I mean, it's still in the early phases, and we still have a lot of work to do, but I mean, by September 2022, every single person, every single business, everybody's going to have access to this internet service, and it's gonna change things. I mean, I can't even imagine the doors and the possibilities that it's going to open up for people. I mean, we have businesses in the community right now who are, selling their products locally. Mm-hmm. If you have access now to a fast, reliable internet connection, you can sell literally to the entire world. You're not limiting yourself to just this population in our community anymore. You can sell to some dude from across the world.
Right.
Have an online store.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
So what is the time frame looking like? You mentioned September 2022. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're still a year off from that. So in the meantime, when is the installation going to start happening? When can people start signing up and getting sort of into the program?
Yeah, we're going to actually...
being brought under the tent, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, people have been asking me that same question all the time. Well, how soon can you hook me up? When am I going to be able to get it at my house? What we're going to be doing, and we're going to be pushing out an email probably within the next week or so, is we're going to be sending out an email to all of our existing clients. But if you want to be put on this list, I mean, it's basically a pre-registration list. Mm-hmm. Saying that you're interested, that you'd like to be hooked up to the fiber service when it's available. And we're not requiring much information, basically just your name and your number at this point.
Right.
And as we get closer to installing you in your neighborhood, what we're planning on doing, and you'll see, I mean, obviously you'll see the construction crews around your house.
Yeah.
But we're going to be we're going to be going door to door, letting you know, saying, hey, we're working here now. This is when we anticipate that it's going to be available in your neighborhood. Do you want us to put you on the pre-registration list that way? As soon as it's available, as soon as we light up that network, we're able to set you up right away. Boom. Is that something that you want? Are you interested in that? I mean, we're not trying to be too pushy, but we just want everybody to know in every possible way that the service is here now, and we want you to be aware of the benefits, and we want you to have the opportunity to, as soon as it's available in your area, to be hooked up.
Perfect. So within the next year, everybody in Kahnawake is going to have the opportunity to be pretty much logged in to the fastest possible internet.
Everybody. Available. It doesn't matter if you're on the 207. It doesn't matter if you're on the OCR.
Because that's one of the big things. People, I'm at the end of the OCR and I can't get the wireless because I don't have a tower. Or I'm in new development and the connection's terrible. Whereas with fiber optic, it's literally going to be wired through the entire community. It's going to be able to go right into your house.
Yeah.
No strings attached. Perfect.
Basically, I mean, a good way to know if you'll be eligible, and it's basically, if you have a connection to hydro right now, you're going to be able to have a connection through fiber, because we're using the exact same infrastructure to deliver that fiber to your home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really is a game changer.
So for everybody.
Yeah. So within the next year, everybody's going to be connected. Now, another big question is, what are the prices going to be like? Is it going to be comparable to my current, cable provider or, 4G things or wireless? Like what's I got the 5G chip. I mean,
we all have
is my connection going to be better than that? How much am I going to pay? How much is this stuff going to cost? That's the question.
We're not revealing pricing yet, but what I can tell you is that it's going to be comparable to the prices that are offered through outside providers. So if you're looking at Bell and if you're looking at Videotron, you can get a general idea of what they're charging for gigabit speeds, for example. Mm-hmm. You check out their website, you'll be able to see we're going to offer something that's comparable, if not cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is not to, come in and offer this product and have it be a premium. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to have a service that's available for everybody. No matter what your budget is, we want to have a plan that's suitable and that's going to meet your needs.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm incredibly excited to get First Nations fiber rolling into my house specifically. So if you could do mine first, that'd be awesome, and then everybody else second.
Sign up for the list, and we'll do what we can to get you hooked up right away.
I'll make the list.
Yeah.
So where can everybody find more information on this? Where can they get signed up? How do they get in touch with you guys and sort of get the ball rolling?
So you can always go to our website. It's fnfiber.com. You can check out our Facebook page. We also have a page on Facebook called Fiber to Kahnawake, where we're going to be posting updates as the project goes along regularly. And if you'd like to have a conversation with me, or if you want to talk to Tina, you could always call us at our office. We're open to calls anytime. We can be reached at, it's 450-632-4441.
All right. Well, there you go. First Nations Fiber coming to Kahnawake within the next year, September 2022. You will be connected. Kahnawake Hirono, everyone across the community is going to have it. Make sure you go to fnfiber.com to get more information. I'm very excited about this. You can see I'm excited about it. I've been saying it. It's not because they're paying me for it. It's legitimate, and it's going to be super exciting. So honestly, this is fantastic news. And honestly, it's something that the community has desperately needed for so long, and it's just so great to see a local company taking the initiative and finally making it happen for us.
Yeah, no, it's been huge. And I mean, people ask me, oh, well, Cameron, is this something that you thought about doing your entire life? Quite frankly, no.
No.
This isn't what I always had planned or I envisioned myself being when growing up. I mean, growing up as a kid, I mean, video games are huge, right?
Yeah.
And
try to play mini clip on dial-up. It
was
not fun.
I remember growing up. I mean, it was around when Call of Duty Modern Warfare first came out, and Modern Warfare 2, or even World at War. My brother and I, we'd be huge into playing zombies.
Yeah.
And we'd be trying to play with our friends who lived in Chateauguay or in LaSalle or anywhere else, even in town, and just didn't work.
No.
We'd be in the middle of a game and start lagging out, and you see that little lag symbol always pop up at the bottom of your screen, and
the little
nuts.
wheel turning.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, as I grown up, I mean, obviously I'm not as big of a gamer as I used to be, but I mean,
You're a liar. That's all you do.
I mean, I still play occasionally.
Yeah.
I'll play a little bit of Fortnite, or I'll play some Warzone here and there, but it's mostly recreational more than a little bit of a time for me to relax more than anything and unwind.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's
You're
a hobby.
You're allowed to have your pastimes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still something that'll be nice. But like for me, business wise, I mean, during the pandemic, I'd be doing FaceTime calls with people, or I'd be just doing Zoom calls, and I'd be having a hard time. I live all the way down the 207, kind of in the middle of the woods, and so we can't service myself. I'm running a wireless internet service company, and I can't even service my own house with like the best service that we could offer. So I'm struggling too. And so I completely understand, you know, people's frustration and struggles when they come to me and they say, oh, well, you know, my son's having a hard time connecting to their Zoom with their teacher, or they're getting kicked out, or it's lagging, or whatever.
I mean, it's such a simple little thing, but if you have a bad connection, it really makes you realize just how badly you need a good connection.
You'd be surprised how frustrated you can get.
Well, look at me. I mean, geez, I was on Zoom with Paul Stanley from KISS, and like halfway through, like it just starts lagging out, and it says like, "Oh, your internet has this." And I'm like, "Really? Like, really?"
Or you could be in the middle of having a conversation, and your conversation cuts out.
Yes,
you wouldn't know it. You continue speaking with that person, and then it's like,
and they're just like frozen on the screen.
Sorry, Jeremy, I couldn't hear you. You could repeat that whole thing again, and then you got it. It's an unnecessary frustration that we've quite frankly dealt with for, I would say, a little bit too long here in our community. So,
yeah, and especially in 2021 going into 2022, it's like the fact that we don't have the service yet. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
so the fact that it's finally coming in, and you guys are honestly the right people to be doing it, it's just super exciting. So. I mean, and I'm happy to be a part of this, so it's great. fnfiber.com, get signed up. Sounds like Infowars.com. Like it's something we're joining a cult or something. I was like, no. First Nations Fiber, absolutely brilliant, guys. It's going to be a fantastic product. So make sure you get signed up, get all the information you need online, and you've said it all, Cameron. Wow, look at you. This has been great.
Well,
I feel like we've answered everybody's questions, and if you've after gone through this entire episode and have more questions about fiber optic internet or internet service in general, anything you want to know about First Nations Fiber, just drop a comment in the comments or send an email, go to the website, give us a call, and it's pretty much an open book over here. We'll answer everything and anything you possibly need answered. So
yeah, and I know that there's some people who don't like talking to people. So if you're one of those people and you just want to send us an email, you could also send it to info@fnfiber.com.
info@fnfiber.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Cameron. This is fantastic. And make sure you get signed up, Kahnawake. It's going to be great. Thanks a lot for watching. Get more info. We'll see you soon.